Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the Happy Ice Cream Bar. This is very similar to my Happy Popsicle, but it is easier, and with the you can do your own color changes to make it look more like the Popsicle with the different colors, so it's more kind of the I guess fruity colors, or yeah. So, but I just thought I'd do it this way so that I don't have two tutorials of the same name, and they are different designs anyways, but I love how it turned out, super cute. Just kind of has the topping and then your ice cream color here. So it's covered in chocolate, delicious chocolate. Band-wise, we're looking at 220 for the top portion, and then the little ice cream at the bottom is 62, and then I used 16 white to make the stick. I made it a little bit longer than the other one because that's what most people told me, although I thought it looks cute the other way too. And then of course you'll need the face bands, so either 7mm pony beads for the eyes or wrapped bands, so a band for each eye, and then your cheeks and then your mouth. And then of course you can add sprinkles or nuts or anything like that to it to give it a little bit more of your own flair. But we'll get started. So we'll go through making the eyes and the cheeks first. If you're going to use the beads for the eyes, or if you're going to use the bands, way too many bands, then we'll start. If you're going to use the beads, then we'll want the, you want something to thread your beads with, especially if you use the smaller pony beads that I do. This design could probably use the larger ones just fine because there's more space here, so you can use the regular 9mm ones. But you want to find something that you can get into a V shape. I used just a piece of craft wire that doesn't want to stay into a very nice V anymore. But you can use string, thread, floss, anything like that. You want to take the bands that you're going to use for the top portion of your ice cream bar, put them into the center, close it up, and then thread it through your band, or through your bead, like that. And then of course if you're going to make them for the eyes, you probably want two of them, so you do that again. If you don't have beads, or you just don't want to use them, you can use a wrapped band, which is just taking whatever color you want for the eye, putting it on your hook, wrapping around once into a figure 8, then you grab both bands, wrap it around again, and then pull through two bands the color of your top portion, like that. So then you would make two of these for the eyes. The cheeks are made the same way as the wrapped bands for the eyes, just whatever color you want for your cheek, put it on your hook, wrap it around to the figure 8, both bands wrapped around again, and then pull through two bands in the top color portion. And I actually have to make the second one. So you'd want two as well for your cheeks. So have those ready. Whoa, throwing stuff. Then this is made on one loom. I have the wrong end towards me. And then what we do is we'll start with the top color. I'm going to use burgundy. This was the cocoa from Rainbow Loom, and then I'm going to use the burgundy this time around. So we're going to start with two bands, and we're going to make X pattern on the loom. We only go to about this much space, so you can kind of start where you like. We do expand a little bit, so we're going to start by making the two X's. So I'm just going to start on a pin on the left, pull a band over to the right, all the way across, and then right on top of that, two more bands from the right over to the left, and then again right above that, from this pin on the left over to the right, and then from the right over to the left, just like that. I'm going to put cap bands on these two pins. It's just two bands. I'm going to wrap them around one time. And the same thing on this side. If you're going to do the sprinkles, you can use the beads and just thread them just like you did the eyes, or the same thing for, you can use wrap bands to do that as well for the cheeks, or for the sprinkles or nuts. So So once you have this, we'll take our hook, and this band right here should be on the bottom of this band. So you go in through this cap band over here first, grab those two bands, hold onto your cap band, and pull them across to the other side. Then come over to the other cap band, do the same thing, all the way over. And then again, we'll start on this side where the band is on the bottom. Go in through the top 4 bands, grab the bottom 2, pull them all the way across. And the same thing on this side. So like that. Now we're going to do a row around. Everything in this is double banded unless I say differently, so the 2 bands all the way around. It helps if you follow the same banding pattern that I do, so that when we do the increases, you'll be able to follow exactly how I do them without kind of having to guess or figure it out on your own. So starting here, and then around. Like that. Now you'll flip over the bottom 4 bands all the way around, and these can be tight, so be careful as you pull them up and over, particularly these ones, so you don't pull off the bands on the pin. That. So now we're going to do our first increasing. We don't do too much of it, but this pin right here, you should be able to pick up the top 2 bands and pull them up to the pin above. So you can see that this band comes around to this pin right here, and then this band comes down here. They don't cross in here at all. Then come down to this corner, and this time we're going to actually have to pick up all the bands that are on this pin, lift them up, pull them down to the pin below, grab the top 2 bands, and bring them back to the pin that they were on. So now there's no crossing between these bands. So we're going to do another row around, 2 bands again, kind of a long stretch here at the bottom. Like that. And then again, it'll be 4 bands on some of the pins, like the top 2 right here, and then when we did the increase on the end, it'll just be 2 bands to flip over, but you'll be left with 4 bands on the pins. So the 4 bands will be on these ones, the lower ones this time, and then it'll be 2 bands up towards the top. Just pull those behind. Push your bands down. So we're going to increase again. It'll be these 2 pins right here, and for both of them we need to pick up all the bands again, take them off the pin, bring them up, and grab the top 2 bands and bring it back down to the pin that they were on. And we do the same thing down here, just bringing it down and grabbing the top 2 bands and bringing them back like that. And again, you could do a row around. All the way. So normally I wouldn't make a tutorial that is kind of similar to what I already have, like popsicle wise, or but I think that because I know my other one is a little difficult where it has the drippy edge on it, I know that might deter some people from making it, or they might get frustrated and stop right there. So I think that this one is a lot easier because it's things that we've already done. So like this. Then again, some of the spots where we increased on the corner on the upper left and the lower right will just have the 2 bands to flip over, and the rest will be 4. So I'm hoping that because it's things that we've already done before in other Happy Foods that it'll be easy for you to do. And it's cute and it is different, so I could probably make like 10 variations of them to get all the ones I can think of. So like that. Again, there's 4 bands left on all the pins around, so we're going to do another row just like that. 2 bands still, all the way around. Plus I think they're super cute, so. Like that. Flip the bottom 4 all the way around. That. And one more row around with just 2 bands. Our next row will be the eye row, so if you're doing sprinkles and things, just so you can kind of plan accordingly, the eyes will go here. So. That. And again, flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Base plate, base plate. Push your bands down. So like I said, this will be the eye row. You might as well grab your cheeks to have them over and ready. But 2 bands down here, 2 here, and our eyes will go right here. And then 2 bands around the rest. Like that. And flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Like that. And now I can probably loosen up some of this on the inside. Just kind of take it up from the pins. Like that. Push your bands down. Next is our cheek row. So again, 2 bands down here. And 2 more bands. Those look like they were a different color for a second. Then our cheeks will go right above the eyes. And then 2 bands around the rest. And flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Push your bands down. So now we're going to add the mouth. So whatever color you want the mouth to be, you'll take a band, or that band, put it on your hook, wrap it around once into that figure 8. And then in front here, between the cheeks, you have the 4 bands on this pin. You're going to pull those up, slide down your band, and then replace the bands back onto the pin. So it looks like that. So now we'll do another row around. Two bands. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. I just got an invitation to my brother's wedding in the mail today. I mean, I knew it was coming, but it's kind of exciting because he's getting married in Los Angeles where he lives. So it'd be a very interesting trip to take. But luckily it's not till February, so it gives me some time to plan and all that good stuff. Decide whether or not to take all the children. So then we're going to do another row around with the 2 bands. My husband thinks it probably would not be a good idea for all of us to travel out there, which I kind of agree, because with having the younger ones, that would be quite a haul, and it would be a weekend thing, so flying out there and then flying back, and it's in February, so it's in the middle of the school year, like that. But they don't have winter out there, so I suppose they don't think about that stuff. And then we're flipping the bottom 4 all the way around. So we shall see. It's kind of exciting. Maybe a mini mom vacation. That would be cool. Like that. Push your bands down as far as you possibly can. So this row is going to be the little edge of the kind of chocolate sauce, or edge of your popsicle if you do the different colors. So what it's going to be is 2 bands. We're going to go all the way around like we did before, but it's going to be crossed. So just put it on there, catch one side, and bring it over all the way around. So once we have this, you're going to push those down a little bit, not a lot, because we're going to lay another row right on top of it. And we want to try and keep the very bottom separate from the row we just put on. So it'll help when we do the flipping of the next part here. This row will be 2 bands, just put on regular, right on top of what we did before. So we've done this before in other designs. Can't imagine my mom getting on an airplane though, so I'm not sure how she's going to make it out there, or driving that far for that matter. We shall see how it works out. Like that. So now we're going to do, so you're going to go in and we're just going to flip over that crossed row that we did. So you have the bottom 4, and then you should have 4 in the middle from the crossed row, and then there's 4 on the top. Because they are because I don't have my top row on very close or very far down, it is easy to kind of flip them off the pin when you're flipping things over. But we just want to flip over the middle 4. I usually can see, like here's the crossed row that's on top of the other crossed row. So I'll flip that band over first and then come and grab the other one. So it just kind of helps a little bit to try and get them flipped over easier instead of digging in here, grabbing the 4 and pulling them over. So look like that on both sides when we're done. 4 on the bottom from the very beginning, and then the 4 from the last row we put on. Same thing on the other side. Although this side I seem to have an easier time just sticking my hook up through and grabbing them and flipping them over. I suppose it's just because I'm right-handed. Alright, like that. So now what we're going to do is go around, no more top color. What we're going to do is go around and you're going to go through the top 4 bands from that little edge row that we did, grab the bottom 4 bands, pull them up through the top 4, and then the other bands will come off the pin, and then just replace the bands back onto the pin. And we'll do that all the way around. Just be careful, take your time so nothing falls off. Make sure you get them all on there. Like that. Do the same thing on the other side. In through the top 4, pull up the bottom 4, remove off the pin. That. So now what we're going to do is you're going to take your next color for the bottom portion of your ice cream bar. We're going to puff all the way around on all the pins. So it's 2 bands. You're going to take your hook, go in through the bands that are on the pin right now, hook 2 bands for the next color, bring them up through, put both ends on your hook, and then you'll pop off the top color off the pin, and then what's on your hook will go back onto the pin. I'm going to do that all the way around. But with my traveling, I've not been over to the West Coast. at least not down the southern west coast anyways. Been on the east coast quite a bit, but it'll be interesting to be down there, and I'm not a huge city girl, so it'll be interesting to be in the middle of things. Hope I don't freak out. It's funny the things that'll scare you and the things that you can deal with and aren't a big deal. Like being a cop, I could handle quite a few scary things, but there are other things that you would think, well, she can handle that, but it's weird. So like that. Put this to the inside. So like that now. So we're going to do basically 2 rows around, just kind of normal. So 2 bands all the way around. I'm making a minty one this time. And this color is again from the pastel pack of bands from Rainbow Loom. I love them, but the fact that they aren't sorted when you buy them really stinks. I do not like sorting bands. It's like I have so many other things that I could be doing than sorting them, but it's hard to use them if you don't sort them, because then it takes a lot longer. So like that. Then flip over the bottom 4. I guess I should say I like sorting bands, but I don't like the time that it takes. So it's very satisfying to finish sorting out a ton of bands and going, I did that, awesome. But I think of all the things I could have been doing in that time, which is usually a lot. Like that. Push your bands down. Then we'll do another row around with 2 bands. Like that. And again, flip the bottom 4. Alright, so now what we're going to do, try not to mix them all up over here so I have to sort them all over again, is we're going to reduce the 4 pins on the end. And how we're going to do that is you'll find the top 2 bands and the bottom 2 bands. You go in through the top 2, grab the bottom 2 bands, pull them up through, so I can tell that I'm through the bands, and then bring them back to the pin before, and then this can come off. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Top 2 bands, go through them, grab the bottom 2, pull them up, and bring them back to the pin before. And then this can come off. I'll just uncatch this as well. We'll do the same thing on the other end. So top 2 and bottom 2, go in through the top 2, grab the bottom 2, pull them up through, bring them back towards the center pins. This can come off. Same thing here. In through the top 2, grab the bottom, pull them back, clip those off, unhook that. So now what you're going to do is go around on the corners and just flip over the bottom two bands over the top. On all four corners. Like that. So now I'm going to close this one a little bit differently than I did the other one, just because I want it to look a little differently. And how we're going to do that is kind of the braiding the bottom. So I'm going to take my hook, stick it in through the right side, pull the bands off the pin. Also, you may want to push your bands down if they aren't already, so they won't fall off. So I have the bands on my hook. I'm going to go into the left side, grab those up, and then I'm going to pull the left side bands through the right side bands carefully so I don't lose anything. Then we're going to go back to the right side, pick up those bands, pull those through what's on my hook, then come back to the left side, grab those four bands, pull those through what's already on my hook, then back to the right side, pull those through, and then go back to the left and grab the last four. So then what I'll do is I didn't actually pull those last ones through anything, so I'm just going to take two bands, or you probably could use one too, pull them through, make a slip knot, and then you'll want to hide your little tail. And you can kind of tell like what side there's a little kind of gap. That's the side I want to pull it down towards. So find that little hole, grab your tail bands, pull them down in. You want it to be fairly flush with the bottom. Go back in. Then you probably have to go in through here just because of how we pulled the bands, unsnug these so they aren't so tight, so they give you the flatter, and grab them all, there we go, flatter appearance. And then make sure that the knot goes down in there. Just put you in there, stay in there. There, looks better. Hide, hide, hide. You may also have bands on the end here from when we reduced that first time that are kind of poking out. You'll just have to go inside, grab them, and pull them back in. There isn't a whole lot that you can do about that, so if I left it the full length, then it kind of looks funny, so it looks better when it's offset. I know I tell you all these things and you're like, oh, she has to do all these pulling and stuff to make it look better, but that's just bands, and I want to be able to tell you so you're not like, what did I miss that mine doesn't look like how I expected it to look. So the other issue is up here at the top where the cap bands are. You might need to go in there and pull them down tight. It's just because we can't make the cap bands any tighter than they are, or it looks funny, and we can't make them any looser because then they'll be even worse. But you might have one band that kind of pokes up. You just have to go in there and pull it down tight. Not a big deal. So I want everybody to be happy with what they make and not kind of go, but this band here looks funny and that one looks funny. So like that. So then what you'll do is come under the bottom here, and right in the center, almost, or it is, there's a part where you can stick your hook through from the braiding that we did. And then, for your stick, I used 3 bands, so it's nice and thick. Put them on my hook, doubled them, so this gets a little tight, like that, and then I just pull them through underneath that braided part, and then back on the hook. Try and center it as best as I can, and then again 3 bands on the hook, doubled, pull them through, center it. We're going to do this 3 more times, so I made it a little bit longer than my other popsicle. So there'll be a total of 5 triple bands pulled together. That's 4, and 1 more. And that little slip band keeps popping up. I'm gonna tie it down. You're making me look bad, bands. So like that, there's 5 of them. Then you can do 1 or 2 bands depending on how you feel about the strength of your bands, and then just pull it through. That last one that we did, get on the hook. I usually kind of try and angle it towards the back and then do my slip knot. And then once I have that, I will weave in the tail into the braid of the design. Just go all the way up towards the top, and then once you get towards the top, if there's any left over, you can pull it inside of your ice cream bar, or you can just kind of start weaving it back up the other side. It really kind of depends on how much band you have left, if it'll go in and stay in. But if I come up through the middle of the braid there, and grab my tail band and pull it in, that should help it to stay in there where it belongs. And I will fix you one more time, and you're going to be in trouble. Stay. Hide. So I'll have to fix that. Or weave it up through the other side because it doesn't want to stay in there. It's too long. Or it's too short, I mean. So just weave it in how you need to close it. And one more time. Voila. Happy ice cream bar. Super adorable. So, I think they're fabulous. They turn out super cute. I hope that you agree. And of course, like I said, I usually don't make more than one thing similar, but in this case I made the exception because I definitely want everyone to be able to make these cuties. But I do want to thank you guys for watching. I definitely appreciate it. If you make some of these or anything else for my channel, I would definitely love to see it on my Instagram page, which is at Crafting Fantastic, or on my Facebook page, which is feelinspiffy or Crafting Fantastic. There are links underneath the video for those as well. And of course, subscribing to my channel so you can know when I come out with the new cuties. That would be awesome, and I would definitely appreciate that. But I want to thank you guys again for watching, and I will have more for you soon.